The oceans are filled with it. Rivers and streams are choked by it. Our environment contaminated by it. And we use it every day. That's just not all that us humans do. We release harmful chemicals into the world on the daily. Spread these emissions without a thought in our mind on the deadly impact they will have on our Earth. We are addicted to these sources, but it may be too late to reverse their effects. Polyethylene, most commonly known as plastic, and carbon dioxide have taken over our worlds, and we must find a solution to reduce their harmful effects. We will take a deep dive into these pollutants, looking at several aspects that form them and what makes them a threat to our lives. Let's take a look at these two pollutants. Firstly, polyethylene is one of the most widely used and produced plastics around the world, with over 10 million tons manufactured each year. Polyethylene is a thermoplastic polymer and is used in a variety of products such as packaging, bags, wires, cables, insulation, kitchenware, products, toys, and much more. On the other hand, carbon dioxide is a colorless and non-flammable gas at normal temperature and pressure, and is an important component of a planet's atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is transparent but absorbs infrared radiation, which acts as a greenhouse gas. Naturally, polyethylene is produced from ethylene, which is obtained from petroleum or natural gas. It can then be processed to a factory to create plastic pellets. After this, it is poured and molded until the liquid is cooled down into a complete solid. Carbon dioxide is both a natural and man-made emission. The natural sources of carbon dioxide are either from decomposition, ocean release, or respiration. Carbon can be sourced via the burning of fossil fuels such as coal, oil, natural gas, deforestation, and cement production. These two pollutants have mass effects on our biosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and as well as our lithosphere. Polyethylene has detrimental effects on the environment, which include animal choking, plastic pollution, blockage of waterways, and landscape disfiguration. Within the biosphere, there is a constant exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, which is the result of respiration. In the hydrosphere, rainwater as well as wind carries plastic into streams, rivers, and oceans via runoff or drainage systems, which can impact the clarity of these waterways and negatively affect the organisms living within them. Differentially, carbon dioxide is dissolved in water, thus having very little impact on the hydrosphere. Plastic can enter the atmosphere through mechanical processes, and it's the same for carbon dioxide when fossil fuels are burnt and enter the atmosphere. Plastic can enter the lithosphere via landfill, which can take hundreds of years to break down, and once broken down, they contaminate the soil by releasing harmful chemicals. The movement of carbon from the atmosphere to the lithosphere begins with rain. Atmospheric carbon combines with water to form a weak acid, carbonic acid, that falls to the surface in the rain. The acid dissolves rocks, a process called chemical weathering, and releases calcium, magnesium, potassium, or sodium ions. There are many ways that we are able to monitor and measure plastic and carbon dioxide. Firstly, measuring marine pollution can be conducted by water surface tail nets or by dragging nets behind boats within a certain area which allows scientists to make a calculation of how much plastic is within a certain area. Another technique of detecting plastic pollution is via satellite remote sensing, which spans and covers large remote areas and is an effective means of measuring and monitoring plastic pollution. The measurement of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is generally performed via absorption of infrared radiation. Carbon dioxide is measured with a gas sensor, specifically made to measure the concentration of carbon dioxide in the air. There are three main types of carbon dioxide sensors: electrochemical sensors, non-dispersive infrared sensors, and metal oxide semiconductor sensors. The environment is always under threat from plastic and carbon dioxide. Plastic bags have become major items in the litter system. This has resulted in many detrimental environmental effects, including animal choking, which leads to death due to consumption of plastic or wrapping around the animal's airways, pollution of the environment, which includes the blockage of canals, rivers and streams, and the building up of plastic in residential areas. Polyethylene is often used in food handling. It could be toxic if inhaled or absorbed into the skin or eyes, as a vapor or liquid during manufacturing processes. Carbon dioxide increases temperatures, extending the growing season and increasing humidity. Both factors have led to some additional plant growth. However, warmer temperatures also stress plants. With a longer warming growing season, plants need more water to survive. Using fossil fuels takes carbon out of the ground, and burning it puts carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. When there's more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it makes the atmosphere warmer by trapping heat. Since humans are adding more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, that helps explain why temperatures are increasing around the world, leading to global warming. Despite the damage that has already been done by these pollutants, there are still options for us to treat and reduce their effects. Management options of plastic can include recycling plastics and forming them into new products, reducing the use of plastic bags, and using alternative forms such as cloth or paper bags. New technologies such as nanotechnology, genetic modification, and advanced chemical processes can help curb plastic pollution by developing natural substitutes and producing more biodegradable plastics. We can reduce the effects of carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases by making our driving more efficient, planting more trees, switching to cleaner energy, making our homes more energy efficient, reducing the amount of fossil fuels burnt, reducing oil and gas consumption, and transitioning into clean energy sources. Finally, we shall look at the implications that plastic and carbon dioxide have socially, economically, legally, and also ethically. For plastic, we can observe that protests and riots occur for demand and change and to reduce plastic use, and has already had severe consequences for society, like the spread of disease, increased food insecurity, and coastal destruction. Management programs such as recycling cost substantial amounts, and plastic is one of the cheapest products to produce compared to alternative forms. A lot of retailers are banned from supplying plastic bags to customers and are advised to supply paper or cloth bags, and it is against the law to give out false or misleading information to consumers. The ban is a result of environmental protection laws. Plastics that were initially created to help humans are now destroying the environment and hurting human and animal health. Our quest for easy packaging is now hurting both the land and sea. Plastic is in virtually every product that we use today, and it is so insidious that it has become a new norm in our lives. Onto carbon dioxide. It is produced widely and required in nearly all facets of life, either travel or housing, which makes removing carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases immediately difficult to transition into cleaner energy sources. Carbon dioxide emissions are a result of manufacturing and everyday life, which has mass costs to produce, so by removing carbon dioxide emissions, the cost of cleaner energy increases. Also, access to clean products such as electric cars costs substantial due to the limited amount that there is. Carbon pricing policies require companies to pay a price for each ton of carbon emissions they release. This price, which generally escalates over time, changes the relative cost of fuels and products, increasing the price of high-emitting fuels and products relative to those with lower emissions. The major ethical issue of global warming debates revolves around the issue of the justice regarding the distribution of costs and benefits of greenhouse gas emissions. Climate change raises questions about the moral values of non-human nature, such as whether we have obligations to protect non-human animals, unique places, or nature as a whole, and what form such obligations take if we do. We have finally immersed ourselves into the world of plastic and carbon dioxide, and have a greater understanding of the effects they have, not just on the environment, but as a society. It may take time for our Earth to fully recover from the damage that has already been done, but you can make a difference in the fight against pollution.